straight to the conversation for today. And I had mentioned last week that I was going to expatiate on the 5 stages of grieving, of grief. All right. And then I was also going to share on why a heartbreak could be a blessing in disguise. Okay, so I will start with those two. And if time permits, then I'll take it to the next area I want to talk about. But if not, we'll try and cover these two in this session. All right. I'm sure you are ready. Somebody say ready, ready, ready. If you're ready, I need you to type in the comments and show that you're ready to rock and roll. All right, I see you guys. Those of you just joining, you're welcome. We're about to jump right into the session for today. All right, so first thing I will share about is the 5 stages of a heartbreak, or 5 stages of grieving. All right, now when we speak of grieving, yeah, I see you guys, you're ready. Thank you. When we speak of grieving, okay, yeah, typically it refers to when there's a loss of a precious someone or something, but then it's beyond that loss of a someone or something dear to you. It could also be, what happens when you face a reality that is different from what you expected, and it has such impact on you. Okay, so sometimes you have prepared for a particular job, you've worked so hard for it, you've gone through the stages, and it looks promising. Somebody even whispered to you that don't worry, you're going to get it, we'll soon announce. And then before you know, things just go left and nobody's talking to you anymore. You're waiting 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You've already told your friends, I've gotten it, I'm getting in. You're so excited. And before you know, it's like disappointment. Nobody gets back to you. You try to reach out, they're not picking their calls. And then suddenly somebody tells you, sorry, we filled up the role. You're like, what? When? I was the best so far in the interviews. You guys told me, and so that kind of sharp disappointment sometimes can leave someone with a heartbreak. Okay, so the things we're sharing about, in as much as for emphasis, we're talking about relationships that didn't work. But I just want you to know that what we're sharing about covers a wide spectrum. All right, it could cover several areas, so long as your heart is tampered with, so long as you are, experiencing a heartbreak. The things we're going to share, you're going to find them relevant. All right. So these 5 stages that we're speaking about were introduced, as a theory in 1969 by an American psychiatrist. Her name is Elizabeth Kubler. They call it the Kubler-Ross Model. Okay, and there are 5 things she spoke about that everyone experiences when they're going through grief or heartbreak. Okay, the first one is denial. Okay, there's a stage of denial, and then there is anger. Yeah, there's denial, there's anger, and then there's a bargaining stage. Okay, I'm going to explain all of this in just a bit and give you clearer examples. And then there is a bargaining stage, and then there is the depression stage, and then finally acceptance. Okay, now what happens is that your emotions go through all of these kinds of responses or feelings at different times. Okay, what's happening is that you're trying to adjust to this new normal. You're trying to adjust to what just happened. Like, is it real? What's going on? Okay, so the first denial stage, that's the one where you hear people say things like, no, it's a lie, it's not happening. He's going to come back to me. No, he's going to come back. You hear the guy say, no, she can't leave me. She's going to come back to me. No, it's not happening. You see, it's denial, like, no, this is not happening, most times that person is in shock, you're like, no, just give him some time. It's going to come around. Just give him some time, and you're really wondering, like, is this happening? Like, no, this is not happening. No, it's not happening to me. No. Not after all these years. What? No. It can't be. I can't even process this. You see, when you hear people say things like that, they are in that first stage of denial. Okay, people handle it in different ways. For some, they don't even want to talk about it. They don't even want to think about it. Like, oh, please, don't bring that up. No, please. They avoid that conversation. And the truth is, part of the reasons, I hope I'm not jumping the gun already, but part of the reasons why so many people don't heal early enough from their heartbreak is because they still sit in this denial for a very long time. Okay, so that's the first stage. And then most times from there, it graduates into anger. You start becoming so irritated, so furious, and not just towards that person, sometimes towards every other person around you. You just become an angry fellow. Everybody's wondering, like, what's going on? And that's why you see when people have issues in their relationships, most times All right, even without telling other people, someone just sees them and knows that something is wrong here. What's going on? You're not yourself. You're not your typical self. Okay. Sometimes people just get hostile. They just, they're in that stage of anger, and because you're wondering, did she really do this? After these years, after taking my money, after doing this and that, and the lady is wondering, what? I aborted for him twice. Is he really going to leave me like that for just another girl? And you're just wondering what's going on. I thought he said he loved me. Like, no, men are so stupid. You start insulting men. They are so crazy, terrible guys. You start saying all of those things. You're angry, you're furious. At that point, if you have chance, you can hurt that person. Have you not seen cases where sometimes people go literally and destroy the person's properties? Like, no, you're crazy. You're dumping me for what? No, we're going to tell you're going to fight it. You're going to, that's anger. Those are expressions, outbursts of anger. You see it in different ways. You see the frustration. You see the rage. You see, fights here and there, wishing that person evil, go better for you, for your children, your grandchildren, your generation. You're wondering, what really happened now? Is it that deep? Yes, it's that deep because of how it affects that person emotionally. Okay, so there's the denial stage where you're saying, no, this is not happening, and then it graduates gradually to the anger stage. And then also there is the stage called the bargaining stage. That's where you start hearing things like, it's my fault, or if only that day he said I should come over, I should have just come over. If only I took away the pregnancy, maybe he would have stayed. If I did not agree to, if I did not go after the other girl, I would not have lost her. There's a blame game going on right now. You're telling yourself, you should have done this, you should not have done that. And that's why you hear people say things like, if you agree for me, I will never slap you again. I will never shout at you again. Please just come back. No, it was the devil. It was the devil. Without you in my life, I will just die. Please now. If you don't come back, I'm finished. What will I be without? They start saying all of those things. They're in the bargaining stage, because don't forget I said at the beginning, they are trying to get used to the fact that there's about to be a new reality. Is this really happening? Is he going to leave me like that? Is she just going to walk out of my life like that? What would I look like? Everybody has known both of us together. I mean, the family has already accepted us. Everybody already thinks we're planning a wedding, So at that bargaining stage, you're telling yourself, if I have a chance, I would do it differently. I would do something better this time. I won't respond that way. I won't respond this way, and there's a lot of anxiety, a lot of blame game going on at this stage. In fact, there's a lot of insecurity. At that point, you're wondering, was it because of that, her colleague at the office, that she left me? Or is it that man that's always dropping her off? Or what happened? You start suspecting everybody. You start wondering what's going on. It's usually at this stage. Now, what happens is that many times these stages sometimes are interwoven. It's not like it's a classroom where you graduate from 1, go to 2, go to 3. Sometimes you're expressing all of these emotions together. It's like they're mixed. There's denial, there's anger, and then gradually you're beginning to accept that way too. This thing is really happening. But then you now start trying to bargain, no, we can, let's come back together. I promise you, I'll not shout at you again. I will not insult your father and your mother again. No, don't worry, I'll be nice this time. I'm going to be very good. I will not speak. All of those things I used to say to you, I'll stop saying them. Well, I'm sure experience has shown that many times those people don't stop, right? Okay, but let's just go ahead. Lest I forget, at some point we're going to speak about abuse. We're going to speak elaborately about abuse. I will share again some of these things. Okay, then after the bargaining stage, the person slips into depression. Okay, at this depression stage, it's like it's really dawning on you that, wait, my world has changed. He's no more a part of my world, or she's no more a part of my world. Wow. You start discovering how far you have gone with this person, how the level of importance you have placed them at. You did not even know that your life fully depended on them, and now you're going to have to get used to this new reality, you see, and then you begin to, to feel sad, feel depressed. And there are different ways this depression shows. Sometimes you're just weak. You just lose enthusiasm. You lose motivation. You can't do anything again. People are talking to you. You're distracted. You're not there. You are so disappointed. You're just weak. In some cases, people start to eat a lot. Some overeat. Some people entirely lose their appetites. and start getting pale and even fall sick, and still they cannot eat, because their heart is experiencing depression. Some people resort to alcohol and drugs, and there's that song that lady did, I've been sipping alcohol for the past 5 days. I'm sure you know that song. That's the stage of depression where you're now consuming, you're looking for substance to just take and make yourself try to feel better. Now, at this stage, many people unfortunately don't know how to go beyond this. And then they stay in this stage for a very long time. It begins to affect their work. It begins to affect their relationships with other people. It begins to affect their self-esteem. And then, unfortunately, they stay so long in this stage and refuse to actually move out of it until another human being comes and starts trying to love upon them. Many times, unknown to them that they have not sufficiently treated this issue, they jump into the next relationship without even proper healing from the current one. They are still angry at the other person. They still haven't got back their motivation. There are certain things they used to be very active with, and somehow they just lost all the steam, lost all the flame, no interest. Now, that is the stage just before the final stage, called the acceptance stage. At the acceptance stage, you're telling yourself that, wait, this thing has really happened, though. I've been crying for the past 2 weeks. Crying is another characteristic of that depression stage. You hear people say stuff like, I've been crying all night, I cry myself to sleep, I just start crying for no reason. It's part of the characteristics of that stage. Okay, but after that, the acceptance stage is where you're now saying that, well, maybe it was never meant to be. I mean, she has moved on already. Just imagine someone who was engaged to a lady and was preparing for his wedding with her, and one day he receives a shocker that she's getting married next week to somebody else, and the guy is like, where is this happening from? Where is it coming from? In fact, there was this month, what month was that when I spoke? Was it last year? One of the question and answer series we had, that particular month, about 3 different guys had told me the same issues, that they were in relationships with ladies who were getting married to other people and they did not even know. So they found out suddenly. And I wonder why these things happen a lot these days. Anyway, conversation for another day. Okay, so that can be really devastating. Now you're telling yourself, well, she has moved on. She's already getting married next Saturday. What can I do? So fine, it's okay. Let me take it that it wasn't meant to be. And you begin to get into acceptance. You're telling yourself, I have to move on. I have to stop crying. These tears are not even helping me. I'm falling sick. I'm not able to meet up my deliverables. I need to get off of this. I need to get out of this state. So you have accepted what is going on. You are beginning to find strength. Okay. And then you can now have a conversation about that experience without necessarily breaking into tears every now and then. You see, gradually, it's like your emotions are letting go of that hurt, right? Now, that's the final stage, called the acceptance stage. Okay, I have run through all of these stages. Let me just quickly touch them again. The first is the denial. No, this is not happening. It's not true. It's not happening to me. The next is anger. You're really furious. You did this after all that we've done. I'm going to deal with you. I'm going to swear for you. Your father, your children, and not go better for you, And people start swearing and all of that. And then there's the bargaining stage. Okay, if you come back to me, I will change. I will stop hitting you. I will be a good woman. I will not curse you again. And then you go to the depression stage. Oh my God, this is really happening. This person is not coming back to my life. What's going on? I can't eat. I can't sleep. I'm crying. I'm drinking alcohol. I'm taking substance. All of that begins to happen. Yeah, Perry, good evening. Good to see you. And then finally, it's like, man, nothing is changing, or I need to move on, and then you get to the acceptance stage. All right. Now, don't forget, I said that many times people run to and fro these stages. You sometimes you get to the point where you think you're accepting, but then that anger comes up again, and it's like, no, this is not happening. So it's just, these are just the capturing of the different emotional experiences that people go through when they're dealing with a breakup. Now, of course, you have heard me say time and time again, all right, that what happens to you is not as important as what happens in you, all right? You cannot determine what people will do to you, what they will say to you, how they will treat you, but what you can determine is how you will respond to those things that are done to you. And why am I reminding you of this? Because these are the times where you have to tell yourself that, hey, the world is not over yet. Yes, I'm going to miss this person. Yes, it was a great time we had together, but what? I can't build my life around this person no more. I have to move on. I have to have a life. I have to love again. I need to keep going again. I need to try again. All right? At some point, you must dust yourself up and try again. You must pick yourself up from where you've left yourself and try again. Don't forget what I shared with you last week. And one of the things I said, what we'll close with, is that there is always hope for you. Don't give up. All right. Don't allow anything to defeat you. I said, don't put any person in a place where they become your life begins to revolve around them. No, that place is meant for only God. Okay. When you put humans there, they can really mess with your emotions. Now, very quickly, I want to share some reasons why, like I said last week, a heartbreak might just be for your good. Oh yeah, it could just be a blessing in disguise. There are times where people tell me they're breaking up and I tell them congratulations. Sometimes people tell me, oh yeah, we broke up, and I'm like, wow, kudos, congrats, and I'm clapping for you. And somebody's saying, what? You're clapping? Why? And I said, it's excellent. Yes. Oh yeah, thank you, blessed. Yeah. The things I just shared were the 5 stages of grief shared by Kubler-Ross. It's called the Kubler-Ross Model, or the Dabda Model. Okay, she postulated that theory in 1969 in one of her books. So reasons why a heartbreak might just be a blessing in disguise. So let me share a couple of things with you. One, it gives you an opportunity to be sober and think about your life. Many people avoid sitting just by themselves and having those honest conversations with themselves. Many people avoid it. It's that vulnerable place that they never want to take themselves to. They never want to get there by themselves. So they avoid it. And let me tell you one very honest truth. You cannot make progress in your personal life if you cannot sit down by yourself and evaluate your decisions, evaluate your actions, evaluate the outcomes in your life. If you cannot do that, you will not make progress. Why? Because it's in being able to do that you're having honest evaluations of yourself, of your intents, of your motives. Okay, it's when you're able to sit back by yourself and rethink through your actions that you're going to be able to make progress. How would you know whether you're making progress or not when you cannot evaluate? All right. So one of the things that makes a heartbreak for many people a blessing in disguise is that for once in their lives, they're able to sit down, they're sober, and they're thinking about their lives. Where am I going with all of this? I've done 2 years with this guy. I forfeited my master's admission because of this guy. Wow. If I had gotten in by now, I would have been around there. For once, they're coming to terms with common sense. Because what happened when they were in love, that thing they called love, which is not the real love, which is attraction, which is infatuation, obsession, lust, when they were in all of that state, they suspended common sense. They suspended sound judgment. They suspended basic reasoning because they were in love. Now that there's a heartbreak, finally, they have come back to invite common sense back into their minds. And then they're saying, oh, I should not have taken this decision. Oh, I would have done this. Oh, I would have done that. You see? So it's a blessing because now you can think, put yourself back together and make progress in your life. The unfortunate part, some people don't. After this experience, they just go and queue for the next experience. Start another relationship. The same thing plays out, the same heartbreak. So some people go through this experience again and again without introspecting, without taking time to really learn the lessons. One of the biggest benefits of a heartbreak is that it allows you to be sober so that you can think about your life, so that you can properly evaluate so that you can extract lessons from that experience. Those lessons will make you a better person. Oh, yes. One of the things I'm going to share with you is how to extract lessons from every breakup. How to extract. There are questions you need to ask yourself. There are thoughts you need to engage, so that at the end of the day, you're not going to leave one mistake with person A and continue the same mistake with person B next year. No. You need to be able to evaluate. You need to be able to extract lessons from every experience. All right. Another reason, the second reason why your breakup might just be for your good and might be a blessing in disguise, is because you were too blinded by your feelings that you neglected the red flags. You were too blinded by your feelings. You thought that even though he's shouting at me and threatening to slap me right now, it's because he was angry. Let me not worry. We will be fine. After all, he gives me money. He buys me expensive gifts. You see the red flags, yet you ignore them until it gets so bad, and then there's a heartbreak. Somebody has broken up with you, has done something to you that you tell yourself, "Chai, I can't recover from this, so look at me, poor me." You see, when you get to that stage, you start seeing that you were what's the word now? You were blinded by your feelings, such that you ignored the warning signs. Many times when I speak with people, who are either going through a breakup or have had a breakup already, many times when I speak with them and I'm asking, did you or did you not see these signs earlier? Many times many of them confess and agree that they actually saw the signs. But in some cases, they didn't understand how impactful it could be. They didn't know how far it could get. Some just ignored it. Some just wished it wasn't serious. Some just expected that things would change later. And unfortunately, it didn't change. All right. So you see, many times people are blinded by their own feelings. They can't see clearly and they neglect the red flags. So eventually, when you are in that heartbreak, it gives you opportunity, like I said earlier, to now be sober and sit by yourself and tell yourself, okay, yes, I messed up there. I need to do better next time. You see, next time when you see these signs in anybody, you know that, it means run. Oh, it does not mean stay. It does not mean be hopeful. It means run. All right. So the third reason that breakup could be a blessing is that, okay, let me take this comment. Yes, there's always a warning sign. There's always a warning sign. Thank you so much for that comment. There's always a warning sign. You see, unfortunately, some people don't yet know how to notice these signs. In my book, Red Flags, I shared a lot about this, and I hope that you can get it. You can go on coachmacy.com and get it in the book section, or you can click on the link in my bio, all right, so that you can see our products and have access to them. Okay, lest I forget, our second book is out. The book is on maximizing singleness. Okay, that one is also out. You can see it on our platforms. All right. Very soon, 30 wrong reasons people get married is going to be out either by month end or early next month. Okay, so we're putting out a lot of materials in different formats, hard copy, soft copy, audio, so that whichever way you can consume the resources and add wisdom in your life. All right. So a lot of work is going on the background. Okay, just thought to say that quickly. So I was saying that the third reason why that breakup might be a blessing is because that person may have been hindering your purpose in life. And I need to say this. Some of you are in relationships with people who outrightly block the expression of what you know is your calling, your passion, your gifting. They outrightly block it. All right, they tell you, no, you can't be dating me and be singing on stage. You can't be dating me and be spending time on your computer. When I'm around, you have to focus on me. And for goodness sake, you're a developer. You have to spend long and long hours on your system, writing those codes, drawing, designing that system or that software. You see, as someone tells you, no, you have to choose between that and me. Can't you see clearly that some of those people, okay, if you continue with them, before long, you're going to be cut off your path and your purpose in life. So there are times that some of those people, God helps you to break that relationship or helps you to spoil so that you can be delivered and focus on your purpose in life. Okay, there's another comment. Someone says that sometimes we see the signs, but we think they are colorblind. Okay, then we don't want people to think that something is wrong with us, and then we stay. You see, thank you so much for that comment. And at the end of the day, what happens? Breakfast and somebody is crying. You see, thank you so much, JB, for that comment. Okay, so let me emphasize what I was saying again. There are certain people who were not good for your purpose. They were going to stop you from being all that God has made for you to be. They're going to hinder you. They're going to block you. And guess what? That relationship needed to spoil. All right? Yes, so that you can get back in alignment with your destiny. You can pick up that dream, that desire from where you left it. I remember once a very talented young lady, I was mentoring at the time, very talented, doing great things from teenage and winning awards nationally and doing great stuff. A particular guy was going to get into her life who had told her clearly, hey, I get married to you. You have to stop all of these things you're doing and sit at home. All right. I need you to be in the house. My wife cannot be out there, doing stuff. And immediately she told me that. I said, forget about it. It cannot be a relationship. Why? Because this person is going to actually make your life miserable. All right. There are people like that. They get into your life and they tamper drastically with all the visions, all the plans, all the passions that God has placed in your heart, and they want to take you somewhere else. You cannot allow that. So guess what? Sometimes when those relationships don't work, this is actually what God was saving you from. All right. Let me just say this. I don't know if it was one of my points, but okay, it's one of my points. So let me not say it yet. I'll get to that point. All right. Another reason why it can be a blessing is that some people lack the emotional strength to call off the relationship themselves. And let me say this for those of you who are listening to me and still managing relationships you should not be in. Please get the strength you need to put an end to it and to walk away. One of the things I'll share before this series is over is how to actually break up. Okay? You need to call it quits. It's not helping your life. It's bad. It's not working. There's no future here anymore. You can see it clearly, but you are still staying there. Can't you see that every extra time, every second, every minute, every day you stay longer, can't you see how you are wasting a very productive part of your life? You have to be able to take this decision early and quick enough. So some of you, while you're there dragging feet, you see, the Holy Ghost will orchestrate circumstances that will help you to spoil that will help that relationship to spoil so that you can be set free and move on with your life. Why? Because you lacked the emotional strength to do so by yourself. There were times when we just started this show, I used to tell people that, hey, I'm a breakup consultant. You don't know how to do it. Come, I will help you. I will tell you what to say. I will help you type the message. No, I won't help you type the message. I will guide you so that you use your hand and type it before you say it's Chimese that is Coach Messi that did it for you. No. All right. But I can help you gather the necessary strength you need to move on with your life. Because like I keep saying, your life is more important than that relationship. You need to understand this. Your life, your purpose in life, what God sent you to this world for is more important than that man or that woman you want to do life with. All right. So if it's not making sense, you will do yourself good to walk out of it than to jeopardize the dreams and visions and purpose and the greatness that God has put on your inside. All right. Another reason why that breakup might be a blessing in disguise is that person is wrong for your future. And let me say this very seriously. Many people get into relationships only looking at the present. He has money now. You don't care how he's making the money now, but right now there's money. Oh, she's a fine girl. Oh, what else? What are those reasons that people used to get into relationship? He asked me out. We live in the same area. You see, he's very kind to me. Some kind of funny reasons like that. And people just jump into relationships. Now, what happens is that right now might be okay for both of you, but there are a lot of complexities that will come up in the future. Listen, you need to be able to have discernment to know that this person, I might not be able to explain why or what, but I just know that I'm not meant to go ahead with this relationship. Someone say he's tall, dark, she's pretty. Funny reasons like that. You see, but this person might not be right for your future. Let me tell you, there are people who are okay with you so long as you are in that stage of your life where you need to depend on them for help. The moment you grow enough self-esteem to be able to sort yourself out, those same people are going to give you a lot of problem in your life. And you'll wonder, but I thought this person was my angel before. I thought this person was my helper before. Why have you changed suddenly? What happened was that they enjoyed that stage you were in where they had to be the ones who determined what happened in your life, where all of your validation had to come from them. And now that you don't need them for that validation anymore, you begin to see terrible behaviors come up. Someone wrote there, marrying for the papers. You marry for the papers. Eventually, you get the papers, but you lose your life. Or you are sworn to a lifetime of regrets and abuse, and you can't talk to anybody about it. I like the examples coming out. Someone says they marry girls because they are slim and they have flat tummy. And then she starts giving birth in the future, and you're wondering, where's that flat tummy I was looking at? And then she tries for where it's not going back to the state it was. For some people, they're lucky it's able to go back. But men, for some, it just doesn't get back. You see, so my point is, you can't just be thinking about the present. You have to be able to think about the future. Many people are in relationships with people who will be detrimental to their mental health in future. What about those who are okay with you so long as you're poor? So long as both of you are managing. The moment you start getting richer, the moment things start getting better for you, they start having a problem with you. You know, I've seen people envy their spouses because their spouses are doing well at work. And you're wondering, but I thought you're supposed to be happy for him or happy for her. Certain men have closed down their wives' businesses because their wife has started making more money than them. They go and close down the business. In fact, they accuse her that it's not only this business that is bringing the money. There are other things you are doing. They start calling her a slut and accusing her of sleeping around. The real problem they have is that insecurity. You see? So it's important that sometimes when your relationship fails, don't just go doing as if your life cannot move on. It could be any of these things that God is delivering you from. Okay, yes, it could be. Someone says value is a very important ingredient when choosing a partner. Very true. Thank you for that point. Okay. You need to have shared values. Shared values. And you will see, I keep telling people, you will see your partner's values in your conversations, in their actions. You will find it. You will find it from the normal gist you guys are gisting. You hear how they respond to certain things. You hear their opinions on certain things. And you will know that, just like somebody who was, this is the example that just came to mind, where a young lady was discussing with her guy, or somebody who was asking her out, and he's been very nice, he's been everything, and somehow the conversation got somewhere where he starts trying to let her know that, well, I have to know where you are at every point in time. And she says, well, if you have to know where I am at every point in time, then I too need to know where you are at every point in time. And the guy goes, what nonsense? For what? I'm a man. You can't tell me where I go and you can't tell me what I do. I can meet who I want to meet. I can do what I want to do. I can follow any woman I want to follow. But you're a woman, you have to sit down here. And she's wondering, oh, wow. Thank you for that reveal. You see? So sometimes in just the conversations, you will see what their values really are. You hear how they talk about other cheating people. You hear how they talk about other abusers. You hear how they talk about other ills in society. I wanted to say one thing now. Let me say it one kind. You will hear how they support people who cheat to get into positions. When you hear them supporting some kind of things, then you will know whether or not you people have the same values. If you have understanding, the Lord be with you. This period, many relationships are supposed to have spoiled in Nigeria, actually. All right, because if you are supporting one party and your partner is supporting the other party, by now that relationship should have broken. If it has not broken, it will break in front. There's problems somewhere there. All right. Okay. Now the sixth reason why that hey, the sixth reason why that relationship might just be why the failure of that relationship might just be a blessing in disguise is that you were negatively influenced and you were becoming another person. Now let me break that down. Do you know that many people get into relationships and because they're trying to be accepted by their partner, because they're trying to remain thank God me, I did not call any name. Again, I gave you people examples. All right. Now, because you're trying to be in the good books of this partner, certain things that you would not do before, you begin to do them. Certain things that you would do normally before, you begin to stop doing them. Now, let me speak as a typical Christian girl or guy, rather, So you're a typical Christian girl. Before you met this person, you had some religious routines that you followed after. All right. Every night before you sleep, you spend like 15 minutes to just worship and pray and thank God for the day. When you wake up in the morning, you spend some time to read your Bible before you have your bath. Those are certain values that you have had all your life. Then you meet this guy. When you want to pray is when he calls you. And because you're trying to be accepted, you accept, instead of rejecting the call or calling him back later or telling him, let me talk to you later, I'm praying right now, or, you go ahead and take the call, discuss, and then those conversations might not even be anything edifying. Before you know it, you are losing yourself. You are becoming another person. All right? You're becoming another person. Let me see some comments there. Yeah, someone says, your values are different and the foundation will be rocky. Yeah. Okay. Another one says compromising your values to gain temporary acceptance. Thank you so much for that point, Perry. That is so true. All right. So you start becoming another person. In fact, Joby says, yeah, nothing but facts you're speaking. Exactly. Some partners manipulate and use passive aggression to change you. You adapt for peace to reign. You see, that thing you're calling for peace to reign, what you're noticing is that they are beginning to work on your value system. They are beginning to change your value system and you are accepting it. Because the truth is nobody can change anything about you without you accepting it. All right? So gradually, those things you used to love to do, you become uncomfortable doing those things with this partner. All right. Now you really want to take your walk with God serious, and then he's telling you stuff like, is it everyday church? What's all these ones? Even at home, you're playing your pastor's message. Now, wow, are you dating your pastor? Because the person does not even understand that you need to feed your spirit, that you need to grow, that you need to build capacity. You see? Someone says that that's how she'll be chatting until she sleeps. Exactly. No more prayers, no more Bible study, no more, personal development. You see, so you need to pay attention to these things. All right. What kind of person are you becoming in the name of being in a relationship? Are you losing your core values? Are you picking up other values that typically cannot be found, where you are, where your name is mentioned? Are you becoming another person? You need to think about these things. Because you see, a lot of people just in a bid to be accepted, just so that it will work. Things that you have told yourself, God forbid, I can never do. You find yourself running to go and do it. You have told yourself, for example, as a lady, just to avoid temptations, I don't want to be spending the night with any guy. But because this one has told you that, hey, I want you to come over, and you are tripping for him, you really like him, you will go and come over. And before you know, you guys get romantically involved and you get sexually involved, and everything just starts facing another direction. Because I keep saying again and again, when you start getting sexually involved in that relationship, you are introducing complications into that relationship. All right, you're introducing complications. All right, now, so you need to look at this really. What is the impact that this your relationship is having on you? So when that relationship breaks up eventually, you discover that now you are able to go back to those routines. Now you're able to start becoming that person you used to be. You're able to pick up book reading. Now every month you're finishing 2 books every month. Before, because of this guy or this girl in your life, you could not finish any book. Now you're able to go back to pursuing your dreams. You have taken another course. Now you're now pursuing your degree or your master's or your doctorate. You see, there's something that Dr. Mike Murdoch says, and I keep making mention to this because it's very profound. He says that what you're willing to walk away from determines what God will bring to you. I have seen so many people, I have seen their lives change from the moment they decided to walk out of a relationship. Their lives just changed. All of a sudden, it just looked like, wow, where were all these opportunities all this while? How come I've been applying for these jobs, I didn't get it? How come it was when this person left their life that doors began to open? Yes, because those people were a possible hindrance to those things. And you will see it in scripture. All right, the Bible says that God told Abraham after that Lot was separated from him. Why did they have to mention that it was until after Lot had gone that God now said, hey, you come now, lift up your eyes and see? Why did scripture have to mention it? There are no insignificant details in the Bible. Okay, so there are certain people that God needs to remove from your life so that you can advance and progress and fulfill his desires for your life. But then some of you will not let go. You will still be holding back. Oh no, if you leave me, I will die. And I keep telling you people, if anybody tells you that they will die if you don't get married to them, it's manipulation. Better go and find one therapist to introduce them to. If they keep saying that they will kill themselves, please go and report them to police. So let police go and catch that person so that they will not commit crime. Because if they kill themselves, it's crime. So please, you have to help them. All right. There are so many comments. Let me take some of them. Joby says silent treatment. Yeah. Which people do the silent treatment more? Is it guys to their babes, or is it babes to their guys? You know, who does silent treatment more? Is it the ladies? You'll be surprised that a lot of guys use silent treatment also. You'll be surprised. Okay, another comment says the more you compromise your standards and values, it means you are desperate. Chai, thank you for that point. That is so true. When you compromise your values and your standard, it's one of the indications that this person is just desperate. You just want to do any and everything to be the one. That's a bad state to be in. When people know you're desperate, they take advantage of you. You lose your identity, you lose your personality, you lose your value, you lose so many things just because you want to be the accepted one. All right, that's not a good state to be in at all. All right, thank you so much for that point. Someone says, but some people change in marriage. The beasts reveal themselves after. Chai. You see, that's the more reason why I share the kind of things I share. I tell you the parts you have to look out for. I try to prepare you. And then I also let you know that you need to trust God for this thing. It's not a decision that you just make by yourself. There are people who have seen certain persons that they thought they wanted to get married to, but they did not have peace in their heart about that person. And after praying, after thinking through, after consulting with their leaders, their pastors, their mentors, your counselor, you're advised to follow your heart. Don't go in that relationship. And before you knew it, that person got into a relationship with somebody else, and then that beast was revealed with the other person. You see, that could have been you experiencing all of that trouble. But because you're able to be led by the Spirit of God, okay, so you can avoid some of those kind of troubles. All right, someone says, funny enough, now that's JB, funny enough, sometimes the values attract the man, but he can't even manage it. So true. Every man is looking for a God-fearing girl, but they are not God-fearing, you see? So that's why I always like to put you as the center of the focus in this marriage preparatory journey. It's not the other person, it's you. What you want them to be, are you that? You want a God-fearing woman, are you a God-fearing man? You want a faithful and committed woman. Are you a faithful and a committed man? You want a rich woman. Are you a rich man? And then you ladies are, I must marry a rich man. Are you a rich woman? All right. So what value are you bringing to the table? I listened to one talk show and I was a bit ashamed. This kind of conversation went on, and they asked the lady, okay, so what will you bring to the table? And she couldn't say anything. I'll be the wife now. Miss wife. What are you bringing to the table now? And she couldn't articulate anything that she was going to bring to the table. That's so not fair. Okay, so you need to add a lot of value to yourself so that the person who is getting married to you will be so delighted, will be so blessed in their lives that you are there. You need to add so much value to yourself. It makes your marriage more valuable. Okay, someone says, before marriage, you believed you were in one accord, right? Then now that you have married, you start seeing other things. Chai, all of these things can be helped or they can be avoided. Someone says 7 years single, the relationship destroyed me. You can't be the same. After you mourn your old self, you go through a rebirth because they have killed the old person that you were. In fact, that is why I'm having these sessions. Okay, because the truth is many people are not able to be restored wholly. Okay, especially not wholly as but completely. Especially when some of their core values have been tampered with, some of their core personality has been tampered with in that relationship breakup. Okay, if you stay through with us till the end, I'm sure, like I say in my broadcast, you're going to find a lot of strength, you're going to find a lot of healing, and a lot of people will be happy that they listen to this. All right. Oh, they say it's guys that do the silent treatment the most too. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, they tell you that they're giving you silent treatment because they can't hit you. Interesting. Okay. Yes, the Holy Spirit reveals people. So true. Hey, sorry, you saw peace. Yeah, you had peace eventually, but you saw shege. Sorry, my dear. Don't worry, God has delivered you from that shege. All right. Okay. Oh. Thank you for this point. Someone is mentioning bad in-laws. They can pretend to ensure that you are with their son and they hook you. Once you say I do or more, everything will change. You see, if you have discernment, you will see through these people. You will see certain behaviors. They might not do that behavior towards you, but you will see how they talk among themselves. You will see how they treat other people. And you will know that this is the material these people are made of. If I enter this family, it is the same courtesy they will extend to me. Do you understand? See, one thing I like to let people know is that you can be led towards your partner. And I'm not talking about a spooky leading where your emotions tell you, say, I want this one, I want this one. No. You can be led. All right? You can put your heart and your mind and your interest in one person. And because you are sensitive to what God is saying in your heart, because you're sensitive to how God leads you, you know how to interpret that unrest. And let me say this to somebody who hasn't known how to interpret that yet. If you're trying to go on with a particular decision, but you're not finding it easy, you don't seem to find the go ahead, you don't seem to be excited about it, you don't seem to, that could be your heart telling you, nope. Guess what? Because you are spirit being, there are signals, there are things that your spirit is receiving, but you cannot interpret them yet. So learn to trust that leading, all right? Learn to trust it and say, okay, since I'm not feeling this move, let me hold back a bit. And you'll be surprised how that decision can save your life. Did I ever finish the points? It's almost time up. Oh, the final point I was going to say, and why that relationship can be a blessing in disguise. I mean, how that breakup can be a blessing in disguise is that because perhaps you had put that person in a place above God in your heart. You see this thing called emotions. Some people get into relationships and you make this your partner, your Lord and Master. Your life revolves around this person. And that's not a state to be in. Because what happens is that God can't lead you anymore. God can't even talk to you. God will be looking for your attention. So long as your oga or that your babe does not approve, God should go and rest first. And he's not ready to drag his position with anybody. So if you exalt the importance of man above God in your life, it could be one of the reasons why that relationship had to fail. So that you will retrace your steps and you would know how to give God the glory that he deserves. You know how to keep the place of God sacred, and highly exalted in your life, in your decisions, okay, so that no human being is coming to drag that position. One of the ways this shows up is where you would consciously, leave your Christian values to go and indulge in things you should not be doing because this person is more important to you. All right. So please take note. One of the reasons that relationship may have broken up was because you had placed that person in a position higher than where God is placed in your heart. Okay. So those are the 7 points. Let me see if I can run through them very quickly as I round off. Oh my God, I didn't do my audio broadcast. Oh my God. And I'm already done. Okay, no problem. I said it gives you the first point I gave you was that it gives you the opportunity to be sober and think through your actions. The second one I said is probably because you were blinded by your feelings and you neglected the red flags. The third point I said was that this person was probably going to hinder your purpose in life. Okay, the fourth point I gave was because you lacked the emotional strength to actually end the relationship on your own. The fifth point was that this person was going to be wrong for your future. They may be okay for you now, but are going to be wrong for your future. Okay, the sixth point, which we spent some time on, was that you were negatively influenced and you could have gotten worse if you stayed longer in that relationship. Okay, and then the final point is that you have placed that person at a position higher than God in your heart. Okay, and those could have been reasons why that relationship had to fail. Let me take a few more comments and that will be all for today. Thank you guys for staying. Thank you for making it so interactive and for all the points shared. I believe someone has been helped. I believe someone has got some value from this session. JB says discernment, very vital. Okay, each time someone comes in the picture, even before they ask for a relationship, I ask God to open my eyes to see who they really are. Sometimes they act up and I see visions. Awesome. That's so great. I mean, that's so great. It will save you from a lot of troubles. Okay. Joby says if you're not in close proximity, you can't see this thing. Oh, hence why I'll never date someone with no papers and from a particular state. This one could be stereotyping now or generalization. Though. All right. In fact, I have left the chat when it comes to Niger men. Now. Yeah, but I understand what you're saying. I actually understand what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, JB says God cares. Just ask, even before getting emotionally involved. Yes, if you ask, he will lead you. He will answer you. Okay. Yeah, Joby says true. You can idolize your partner, so it's a terrible thing to do. Thank you so much for that point. All right. Nobody can pretend to be a good person around a child of God who is sensitive to his leading. Thank you for that point. I'm not a Christian anymore, but I have learned some things on the journey. Joby, let's take this conversation forward. All right. I would like to hear your new thoughts. All right. And what it is you believe now. All right. Okay, said I should run through them. Yes, I've run through those 7 points. Okay, if you missed anything, please, this video is uploaded on our handle and on our YouTube, so please, you can watch it. If you missed last week, please go on our YouTube to go watch it. It was lit. It was really interesting, and powerful. All right, God bless you. See you guys again next week. And then till then, keep spreading the word. Keep listening to our resources out there. All right, and keep adding value to yourself. And please don't forget to consume our resources, patronize our materials. We have books for sale, we have online courses for sale, and then I have a mentorship group, a closed group I'm trying to build up for certain people who I will dedicate time to consciously and deliberately mentor.